Salut à tous, ici Extreme Player, je suis content de vous retrouver une fois encore pour un nouveau jeu. Alors cette fois c'est un jeu un peu spécial, c'est un jeu indé. Et en fait on m'en a beaucoup parlé et j'ai voulu tester ça avec vous et en faire une petite vidéo. Alors le jeu je ne pensais pas qu'il était en français à la base. Alors il y a tout qui a été traduit, c'est vraiment pas mal. Même si l'anglais je me débrouille, même si vous pouvez regarder mes vidéos vous pensez que l'anglais je suis pas trop doué, mais en fait ça va, je me débrouille. Mais là vu qu'il est en français c'est encore mieux. Mais écoutez, je me lance directement à l'aventure, je sais pas ce qui m'attend. On est parti.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Ah bah je vous laisse l'histoire, hein, ça peut être utile.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons
Ah,
on a
ça me
keyboard.
rappelle mon boulot ça.
Orders came
Bref.
to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Ah,
This
c'est
is what
quasiment ça, en fait.
employee 427 did every day, every month, of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley
Ah, la voix est
relished
vraiment pas
every
mal,
moment
j'aime
that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change
Donc le jeu c'est The
Stanley.
STANLEY PARABLE.
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete
Bon, qu'est-ce
isolation.
qui se passe?
Something was
Je
very
pense que là on va
clearly
voir un petit
wrong.
peu.
Shocked,
commencer à partir de là.
frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Je pense que là je peux jouer. Ok. Alors bah écoutez, je sais pas du tout ce qu'il faut faire. Tout ce que j'ai fait c'est que j'ai réglé les touches. Parce que je me disais bien que c'était en anglais, du coup bah voilà, ZQSD ils connaissent pas trop. La souris ça me permet de toucher des trucs.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Il y a personne.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ouais, ils sont tous barrés sans moi. C'est peut-être la fin de l'heure du boulot aussi, ça me rappelle un peu mon travail chez moi. Tout le monde termine à 17 h, mais à moins 5 il n'y a déjà plus personne, bref. Alors, est-ce que je peux pas ouvrir les
Stanley
portes,
went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
là? Ouais, mais j'ai envie de toucher plein de trucs si ça me regarde. Ah bah voilà, j'ai touché une porte, j'aurais peut-être pas dû. Ah non, c'est bon. Ok. Ok, bon bah voilà, ok, je touche des trucs. Pour le moment, il n'y a pas grand chose à faire. Bon bah je ferme des portes. J'ouvre des portes, je ferme des portes, tout ce que je fais. Ça marche pas. Qu'est-ce qui se passe là-dedans? Il n'y a rien.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Traverse ça, celle de gauche. Bah non, bah moi je vais aller celle de droite. J'aime pas qu'on me donne des ordres, moi. Ni Dieu ni maître.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Non, non, c'est juste que je voulais pas aller à gauche quand on me dit d'aller à gauche. Ça me fait chier personnellement. J'aime bien faire ce que je veux moi. Alors on peut pas sauter. C'est très frustrant pour un FPS. Enfin il n'y a pas de shoot pour un FP tout court du coup. Un first person, je sais pas quoi. Elle se ferme pas cette porte. Ok.
Yes,
Ah bah
truly
c'est-
a room
ok,
worth
d'accord, il y a des
admiring.
spectres ou je sais pas quoi.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Non, non, je reste pas là, je respire pas l'ambiance moi. Y a rien à faire. Je me barre.
Yes, really worth it being. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
bah non, je ne traverse pas la première porte à gauche. Je vais tout droit. Je fais ce que je veux, moi.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
C'est carrément moi. Alors, ok. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je ne sais pas. Bon, on va continuer, hein. De toute façon.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Bon, je vais éviter de tomber, je pense que je peux crever comme une merde.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
J'ai un peu pensé à Portal, moi, cette ambiance-là. Genre, il y a quelqu'un qui te dit quoi faire, etc.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Mais je vais faire ce que je veux, moi, si je connais personne. De toute façon, je suis célibataire dans le jeu. Bon. Ouh là là, une pièce toute noire. Ça fait flipper. Qu'est-ce que je fais? J'y vais, j'y vais pas, j'y vais, j'y vais pas, j'y vais, j'y vais pas. Et ben j'y vais. Bah non. Eh ben si. Eh ben non. Eh ben si. Eh ben j'y vais. Oula.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Ah bah non. Je prends pas le téléphone.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Oui, je débranche
No,
le
that
téléphone.
wasn't supposed to be a
Énorme,
choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits.
Laissez-moi sortir.
Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action.
Alors je sais pas si en
How is
fait
that even
je pouvais
possible?
décrocher le téléphone ou pas.
None
J'en
of
sais
these
rien.
decisions were supposed to mean anything.
Je suppose
I don't
que oui.
understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Ah merde, je croyais que je pouvais sortir.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
J'ai pas envie de regarder un film éducatif, moi.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having..."
On écoute. Oula, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Practice. C'est-à-dire quoi? Entraînement, ça?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, If you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, bah, je vais avoir droit à un exercice.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Ok, bon, bah, on y va alors. Oulala, qu'est-ce qui se passe là? Ça fait flipper un petit peu, moi je dis. Bon. Trop le choix, on va sortir. Hein. Ok, on va passer par là. On va reprendre cette passerelle là.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
En marchant sur cette plateforme, ça va être très très drôle. Du coup, je ne peux plus mourir maintenant. J'ai plus le droit de mourir. Ok. Alors ça, c'est mon portable qui vient de sonner. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Ce n'est rien. Bon. On va reprendre le jeu. Ok. Qu'est-ce que... Bon, faut que je passe par là. De toute façon, j'ai pas trop le choix, je crois. Ok, bon. Ouais. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je dois retourner jusqu'à mon bureau là? C'est quelle heure? Ah, il y a bien une heure qui... Ah, je crois que c'était la vraie heure en fait, en vrai. Mais non, pas du tout. 11h25. Bon, mais chez moi il est quelle heure? Non, ça n'a rien à voir, c'est 11h en fait. Je commence à flipper, j'allais dire qu'est-ce que c'est que ce jeu?
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Ok. De toute façon, j'ai pas trop le choix de toute manière, à ce que j'ai cru comprendre.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Eh bien non.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Ouh là là, qu'est-ce qui se passe là? Ouais. Vite, c'est commence à être très très bizarre là ce jeu. Bon bah je prends vite la porte de gauche alors. Hein. Hop hop hop. Ok, allons-y.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that you... my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Pourquoi ça s'arrête? Sans rien. Oula. Ouais. Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ou pas. Je sens que là de toute façon j'ai pas trop le choix. Mais bon, tant pis, je vais quand même reprendre la droite.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Voilà, j'étais sûr que je devais reprendre.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Eh bien non, je reprends celle de droite.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Voilà. Et tout va bien. Oh, c'est pas tout cassé.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
J'ai envie d'éteindre ce rétroprojecteur. Je n'ai pas d'ombre en fait, si vous voyez bien. Normalement, il y a une ombre qui devrait apparaître, mais je n'ai pas d'ombre. Bon bah, on va aller voir le bureau de mon patron. Même si je sais qu'il n'y a pas de patron.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bon bah, on va monter alors. Hein. De toute façon, j'ai pas trop le choix, je crois. Ah oui, ça change l'ambiance là. Hein. Parti dans la Renaissance. Ok. C'est quand même très très bizarre ce jeu. Mais c'est marrant. Ok, je peux rien faire.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Requin marteau 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Ouais, je le dis comme un con. Je sais que c'est n'importe quoi.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Ok.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door.
The end?
Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there?
Je sais très bien que c'est pas la fin, parce que vraiment tu peux pas jouer quand c'est la fin, quand c'est le générique de fin, c'est pas normal.
Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Bouge, qu'est-ce qui se passe? C'est la fin là? The end is never the end. La fin n'est jamais la fin. Ok. Oula. Bon, bah écoutez, je vais arrêter là pour ce jeu pour le moment. À vrai dire, j'ai pas trop compris tout ce qui se passait là. C'est un peu le délire dans ma tête. Je sais pas trop. Donc bah, je vais vous laisser là. Je vais continuer un petit peu mon exploration de ce jeu, qui a l'air vraiment pas mal, mais il y a pas mal de choses à faire où je comprends pas. Bref. Donc je vous dis à très très bientôt. Et je ferai certainement une autre vidéo sur The Stanley Parable. Mon anglais est toujours aussi bon. Donc je vous dis à bientôt, n'oubliez pas, vous pouvez vous abonner à la fin de la vidéo en cliquant sur je m'abonne, vous pouvez me suivre sur Twitter, Facebook quand je mets des trucs, hein, c'est pas toujours le cas, et n'hésitez pas à partager la vidéo si ça vous a plu. En même temps là j'ai pas fait grand chose à vrai dire, j'ai juste suivi une voix qui me disait quoi faire, bref, on verra bien par la suite. Allez, je vous dis à très bientôt, et bonne journée ou bonne soirée, peu importe, vous savez l'internet, il n'y a pas d'heure pour regarder. Allez, au revoir.